Welcome back to Hannity. Jerry Fallwell, Jr., who is the president of Liberty University, is taking heat for comments that he made about the president's push for more gun control in the wake of the San Bernardino terrorist attack. Now, Fallwell urged his students on Friday to arm themselves when he said this.
Some of those people in that community center had what I've got in my back pocket right now. Is it illegal to pull it out? I don't know. Is that... Anyway, I've always thought if more good people had concealed carry permits, then we could end those Muslims before they walk in and kill us. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to encourage all of you to get your permit. We offer a free course, and let's teach them a lesson if they ever show up here.
Teach them a lesson if they ever show up here. Here now in a Hannity exclusive is the president of Liberty University, Jerry Fallwell, Jr. Jerry, good to see you, sir.
Sean, wonderful to be with you.
You know, I made the same comment last week. I said I had a guest on, an anti-gun guest, and I know this is where the president and Hillary want to take this. Before we even knew the identity, before these two terrorists were even killed, they were advancing a gun control narrative, which is, you know, in my mind, without any facts, I think it's very irresponsible. But the president did it, Hillary did it, and Governor O'Malley did it. But here's the reality. If you were in the room, if I, as a concealed carry permit holder and a marksman since I'm 11, if we were in that room, we might have been able to save lives. What part of this argument don't they seem to get?
It's common sense to me, Sean. I just remember 8 years ago, just an hour and a half from Liberty University, the terrible carnage at Virginia Tech. I remember thinking for years after that, what if just one of those students, one of those faculty members had a concealed carry permit? What if they had been able to stop that shooter before he killed 30-plus lives? And I just determined after that incident to make sure that Liberty University students were prepared, were able to protect themselves, to have the chance to protect themselves. It's not all students. It's only age 21 and older, faculty and staff, so we don't have a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old students running around with handguns. But it's a policy that's been in place here for several years, and it's worked well for us, and I'm proud that Liberty was one of the only schools to take that position initially. Now dozens have followed suit, and I think it's common sense. It's where all universities need to go.
By the way, I would argue you are your father's son, being outspoken, but I am a little surprised at the response. Let's go to Hillary Clinton, directed these comments to you, and I want to give you a chance to respond.
Mr. Fallwell urged his students at Liberty University to actually arm themselves, get concealed carry permits. Your response?
Well, he also went on, and don't forget he said this, George. He said that way we can take out the Muslims. He said that, okay? This is the kind of deplorable, not only hateful response to a legitimate security issue, but it is giving aid and comfort to ISIS and other radical jihadists.
She obviously wanted to take your comments out of context. You were talking about radical Islamists. Go ahead.
No, I'll tell you what's deplorable is Hillary is a liar. That's not what I said. I went on to say those Muslims, before they could come in and kill us, referring specifically, if you listen to the first part of my comments, to the community center incident in California. And if you go back even further in my comments, I started off by talking about how touched my wife and I were watching Fox News the night before, or the night after or the night before I was in convocation on Thursday night, and Mike Madden, the first responder, brought my wife to tears. He was just so sincere, and he talked about how deeply affected he was walking in and seeing that carnage and seeing all the, smelling the gunpowder, and we just decided right then we were going to contact his office, which we did that night, and I told all the students how we were trying to find out if he had college-age young people. We wanted to offer them scholarships to come to Liberty. Same thing with the families of the victims. We now have all the phone numbers and addresses of every single victim who has children, and we're contacting every one of them to offer assistance to their children so that no matter what it takes for them to get a college education, they'll be able to do it here. And that was the context of my remarks. And then I went on to say that I just could not believe that our president's answer to something so horrific as that is more gun control. That just defies common sense. It defies logic. And then I went on to talk about
that's an
how I
important
had
point.
my permit. I've had it for...
You were offering scholarships to the victims and their children and their family and stepping up. And I watched that police officer. I had the same reaction. I wanted to cry like your wife. I mean, it was so horrible because he saw the carnage and the blood and all these people shot and many of them killed. I want to put up on the screen two things from the American Enterprise Institute. I think they say a lot about gun control. Number one, the gun ownership rate from 94 to 2014 versus the homicide rate. Gun ownership has gone up considerably. Homicides have gone down, gun homicides. And they put out another chart, and that is the number of firearms versus gun homicide rate. As you can see, the homicide rate has gone down, and the number of privately owned firearms have gone up. So obviously that's the case, and I bring it back to a very simple point. God forbid, I've been to Liberty University, I've spoken at your convocation, and I could tell you that if anyone ever came in there, I would want to know that there were people there that could stop them before they killed innocent children, before they killed professors. So to me, it's common sense. I'm surprised that she would take your words out of context like that.
Well, she really did, and sadly, at most universities, the students would have no option. They would not be allowed to protect themselves. They would not be allowed to have a permit, and we've got to change that in America. And I happened to be in a gun store today with my two sons. We were buying some Christmas gifts, and the gun owner told me how he can't keep any guns in his store. In the last week that the gun cases are empty, he said, you better buy, he might have just been a good salesman, but he said, you better buy one of these right now because there won't be one here tomorrow. So I did.
Let me ask you one political question. Liberty's playing